everybody, and welcome to EdTech Chattin' 2, episode number 21. And we are excited today because we're going to be talking about Veterans Day, which is coming up on November 11th. Plus, tomorrow, my friends, is voting day. Yes?
Yes.
For many of us? Big doing. It's a good week to be an American. Would you agree?
Is there ever a week that's not? Right?
Well, I'll give you that. We have good things going on. Okay, always joining me are my friends from around the country. So we have Mike from Pennsylvania.
Hi, everyone.
Joe, who's down in Austin.
Hello.
And then Karen, who's in El Paso, and who's having network issues, but she's got thumbs up, so we're good.
Right.
And we're just going to be, first of all, sharing a little bit about how we are using technology for our Veterans Day events in our communities, and then we'll give you an update on how our Around the World Skype project's been going on. So let's start with you, Mike. What are some things that you think would be great for a school to implement?
Well, you know, Veterans Day, both of my grandfathers were World War II veterans. I have two fathers-in-law who were veterans in Vietnam. So, you know, I've always been very passionate about this, and our community does an amazing job with Veterans Day. We have a township ceremony that the kids participate in. Our American Legion sponsors an essay contest. So, you know, we do a lot, but I like the idea of turning it more 21st century and allowing kids to not only create but also share their creations with others to show the appreciation that they have for the veterans in our community. So our primary students use Animoto, which is a site that you can insert pictures, and it's very easy to create a slideshow with music. You can add in some text features. You can add in short little video clips of up to 10 seconds. And they've used that and embedded that on their classroom blogs. And some of the students have created their own and embedded it into student blogs, sharing some of the activities they did on Veterans Day and their appreciation for our veterans. As I mentioned before, we have an essay contest that we do. So a lot of teachers have taken that and combined the essay contest, where not only are students writing it by hand, but they're also blogging their essays, so that you know, our winners go ahead and read their essays at a ceremony that our veterans attend. But even the kids who don't win then feel like that their voice is being heard, and their appreciation for veterans is going beyond their own classroom. And they get some great comments, and of course we share that out as far and as wide as we can so that other veterans can read those posts and understand the students' sentiments. And the last tool that I want to share is My Brain Shark, which I've mentioned before. And what I love about My Brain Shark is it's a free site that allows you to create slideshows, PowerPoint presentations with a voiceover, where students can read and present that PowerPoint presentation online. So what we've done with this is we've used this to combine video of our essay contest winners reading their essays with other students. So each essay is its own individual slide. And we can take the video that we've got from the essay contest readers along with kids that are just reading their essays, and if they don't feel comfortable on camera, we can put up a nice you know, American flag in the background or something, so that it's just a picture there, and they're able to, you know, voice over, and if they make a mistake, they can re-record to make sure that they get their voice reading their essay for others.
That's terrific. And Joe, even though you don't have a class this year, what are some, I mean, did you have a lot of veterans things when you were in your schools there when you were in El Paso?
Well, in El Paso, because being such a big military city, I mean, Fort Bliss, and so every campus you walk in, there's always an event for the veterans, right? And there's always really neat things. But I was hearing Mike talk, and I was like, oh my God, you know. And what Karen said too is that there's a lot of veterans. I mean, we forget. I mean, we work with them and not realize that they actually spend 20 years in the military or whatever years, and they have so much to share. And a lot of times when if given the chance, they want to share their experiences with you. And 21st century skills, right? I was thinking like Bokaroo, right? Have the ex-GIs tell a little story about what they experienced in the military. In Bokaroo, they have a collection of, so they can click on different veterans on their own campus, and they can hear their story about their experiences when they were in the military. I know one of my friends, I mean, he's not really my friend, but he's my friend's grandfather. He was in World War II, right? And I gave him the chance. I asked him, hey, so how was World War II? And oh my God, he just didn't stop Of course, he didn't share the terrible stories, right? But he shared the fun stories when they were hanging out and doing this. But I know at a different time I'll tell you guys the story he told me, and I thought it was amazing because he ended up being alive because of a little accident he had on the before his jump. But that's a different story. But yeah, I mean, if they have the chance to share it, wouldn't that be kind of cool? And they can just go to Roku and click on the image, and they can listen to their story. But this is my 2 cents.
That sounds awesome, actually. Okay, and Karen, your husband is a military man. Tell us what ideas are running through your head.
Well, there you go. My husband is actually a veteran, and so I think that Skype is a great tool that can be used in the classroom to interview a veteran and to hear a little bit about what their past experiences were like. I know for Veterans Day, a lot of our veterans in our community, it's actually a day that they're reflecting on, again, their past experiences. It's a sad time, a time that a lot of them will go and actually visit the cemetery and visit their friends that they've lost in combat. And so it's a good time to just, I guess if you haven't, been a part of the military, to learn a little bit about what they go through and what they remember. I think it's a great idea for students to compile questions to ask veterans. And here in El Paso, our schools that are primarily students that students of soldiers, I guess you could say children of soldiers, where we have 90% population in some of our campuses, they actually have a wall of heroes. And so when you walk in, you'll see that they've got either, a picture of their brother, or a picture of their aunt and uncle, or a picture of their dad, or a picture of their mom, and you'll see lots and lots of pictures of soldiers, but they'll also have a little wall to thank their veterans as well, and they'll have a veteran breakfast and, things like that, which is kind of nice. So techie thing I think that we could do is to honor them is definitely creating those videos where we're curious about their experiences and take time to listen to their experiences as well.
I think one of the really important things that both Karen and Joe touched on, whether it's our World War II vets or the veterans from Vietnam, those veterans are getting older, and when they pass, their stories pass with them. And those stories are so important. And if there's a way for us to archive them and record them for future generations, and we can have our students involved in that, I mean, I just think that that's so important. I'm blessed that my grandfather actually wrote a book about his experiences before he passed, and put that all down so that we as a family and others outside of the family have access to those experiences. I just think that if we can do that for every veteran, I mean, that's just a powerful and important thing.
Well, and you also have veterans from Desert Storm, and they're very young veterans. I mean, typically students will think, oh, it's a veteran, it's an older gentleman and an older lady. But you have veterans that are in their late 30s that have been to war and have seen some things that are still stuck in their mind, or lost friends. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and Karen, you were also talking about the World War II Museum before our call began. Why don't you share that story?
Okay, so there are some opportunities for you to connect to a museum to share a little bit more about some of the actual events that happen. And there's a World War Museum in Louisiana. Did I get that right, Diane?
New Orleans.
In New Orleans, that actually does some free Skypes, and they'll actually do kind of like a mystery Skype, where you have to figure out where they are and what kind of war museum they are, which is pretty interesting. But take advantage of some of those free connections that you can make, where you might not have a museum or a veteran museum or some kind of memorial to actually take your students on a tour of, but there are lots that are actually willing to do Skypes, and that would have veterans there on hand to share their experiences and answer questions for students.
Agreed. Even some of our national parks that do a Civil War, kind of focus, like Gettysburg or Antietam, some of those, will do calls. They use WebEx more than they use Skype, but they will do calls to schools and talk about the importance of the history of veterans in our country. I think it would be very powerful for students to see. One thing that we do here in our own district, our 8th graders have to do interviews with the veteran. It's an assignment that they are given. They have several months to kind of put it together, but their job is to find a friend, a family member, whatever, and just find out the story, which I think is great. It fits real well with what you guys are putting together. And then they have to make a documentary film about that to share by Valentine's Day is the deadline. But this is the part where we really begin the conversations. And we do have a lot of international students in our schools. So we say, well, you know, veterans aren't only United States. You need to go ask somebody who's served in military service wherever. And when my own son did it, of course he's a junior now, but he interviewed 3 of our family members, one who was in the Korean War, one who was in Desert Storm, and one who's currently serving now. So he was able to see different generations share their story. And the common thread was all of them talked about the brotherhood, the camaraderie that they had with their fellow soldiers, and the idea of being on a mission together gave them a purpose to strive for that they've never been able to duplicate since being in the military, which I thought was kind of interesting. And our school every year will partner either with the Wounded Warrior Project or the Honor Flight, where we raise money over Veterans Day, sell T-shirts, and do all kinds of things so that other veterans can be remembered after their service. We just even had our tech director got back from an honor flight last Friday. He was able to take his dad who was in the Korean War. So students wrote letters and did all that for the mail call event that they do there. Have you guys ever seen someone do the honor flight?
No.
No? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. So this was for World War II and Korean vets. They have, and it's done by every state. We can put the link on our Facebook page or on, we'll put it on the page after this. But you can apply to get a free ride in a plane to go to Washington, D.C. and see your memorial. And it was originally designed for the World War II veterans because the memorial was built so many years after they served. And the senators go out and meet them at Washington, D.C. and all this. It's pretty phenomenal. Before you go, they ask community people and so forth to write letters to the soldiers. So when they get to D.C., they have a banquet that first night, and they do mail call, like, soldier so-and-so, here is your mail from home, just like they would have received while they were in service. And we had 4 classrooms write letters to the tech director's father, and I guess it really hit him that these kids would be willing to do that. And he had, you know, that you still get mail even though you're far away. Then the next morning he was able to go out and see the Korean War Memorial, and the senators come out, you know, it's a big deal. Then when they fly back home, there's a huge welcome home party at the airport with people cheering for them and welcoming the soldiers home from service. So yeah, it's kind of an emotional thing to think about, but very powerful. And so our students in the past have raised several $1,000s to help send more veterans on those flights.
I want to find out more about that.
That's wonderful. That's just so great.
So definitely look up for Honor Flight. But so that kind of wraps up a little bit about the veterans piece. Mike, how are we doing on our project?
Project's going very well. We've just finished week 4, and we've got, you know, from all over the world, we've had our videos coming in, and I know, Diane, you're updating the map. The last week or so, I know there were some schools that were on break, so they're a little bit late getting their videos in. We're going to give everyone one more week to get their first 4 weeks worth of videos in, and then we're going to ask one final culminating question for them and allow everyone to submit their videos. But we've kind of thrown out there that we're very open to running another project similar to this again after New Year's, if the feedback is positive. And so far, I think that's where we're headed, because teachers and kids really like this project. They really like connecting with kids in other places and learning about, you know, the cultures and the ways that they're the same and ways that they're different, and appreciating that also.
I think it's fantastic. And our Australian friends, they only have like 25 days left of school before they go on summer vacation. So we're wrapping up the project right before they close out the school year. Nice. And then they return the end of January, 1st of February, so we'll kick up another project at that time. It's going to be good.
Sounds great.
Any more news, friends?
I'm excited. I'm going to throw out there, we have on Wednesday 2 Skype calls set up. One with and Diane, you know these people because I think you did a call with them last year, the South African Penguin Reserve.
Yes, Sandcob. They're awesome.
Yeah. So Sandcob is going to take our 2nd graders on no, we're not doing a tour of their facility. Our 5th graders are going to take a tour of their facilities next week. But our 2nd graders are going to get to meet some of the penguins and some of the people who help rehabilitate them this week, so we're excited about that. And then later on Wednesday, we actually our fifth graders have a call with Roxanne Ranama, who is one of the leaders in the the Conflict-Free Campus Initiative. She's partnered with Intel as I believe she started as a student in high school, and she's at Berkeley right now. But along with Intel, they've partnered to get 15 to 18 different colleges to agree not to buy technology that has minerals from conflict-torn regions in Congo in their schools. So because I'm all about student empowerment and helping students believe that they can change the world, when I heard Roxanne's story, when I heard her speak, I knew that she was someone I wanted to connect with our kids to show that, you know, if you believe in something strongly enough, you can make a difference. So we're really excited about that call also.
That's incredible. And the sand cob you're going to love. They are just so much fun. To see real penguins on the call, the kids are going to be excited.
Yeah, and it just so happens that we're in the middle. Our third graders are, I think I said second grade before, but it's our third graders. Our third graders are in the middle of a penguin unit, so they've actually like researched all the 18 different kinds of penguins and where they live, and you know they don't know what kind of penguins they're going to be seeing, so they can't wait to see the video to to be able to identify them. So it's going to be great. We're looking forward to it.
That's
We just made a contact in Antarctica, so maybe between the two we can help open some more doors for you.
That's the one continent we have left that we haven't Skyped with this year, so yeah.
Let's set that up. Okay, my friends, let's see what's for lunch. Karen, what are you having today?
Black bean soup.
Oh, that sounds delicious, actually. Did you make it yourself?
No, I bought it in a box, but
Still sounds good.
organic.
Sounds good. Joe, what's for lunch?
I'm actually taking a walk with my colleagues to Wendy's and have chicken salads. We're going to be good.
That'd be good. Mike?
I just finished, my wife made an incredible celery root mashed potato last night to go along with a fresh caught salmon that had an Asian teriyaki glaze on it and some asparagus.
Mmm.
It was excellent. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually somebody in our crew that has one of those wow meals. You won that star this week. Because I just had a salad. Okay, my friends. We'll see you next time on EdTech Gen 2. See ya.
Bye-bye, everyone.